All right, great. What we're going to do today for the first 30 minutes or so is we're going to take you through a high-level run-through of Xorcom and our product offering. It's not going to be comprehensive. It's meant to be that high level to give you a sense of the product, the features, the main benefits, etc. So what we're going to be talking about is primarily Complete PBX, and shown here you see the Blue Steel server right up here. Blue Steel is the latest entrant to the Complete PBX line and offering. It's a highly resilient system. We'll talk about it in more detail. But what we want to know is, first of all, what is Complete PBX? Well, it's a comprehensive business-grade voice-over IP, thank you, system fully supported from a single manufacturer, and that's important. It is a hardware and software solution. We bring you the full solution integrated, okay, and that is Complete PBX. And the point that it is from a single vendor, okay, that supports both the hardware and software is really a key point in the marketplace. So keep that in mind. When we talk about Complete PBX, we talk about actually a family of products. There's 7 different product lines in the Complete PBX family. I will show you those different products. But what's important also to note is that those products are all integrated. So for example, if you start at the entry level with Complete PBX and you grow your client, your business, you're using that same software. It's that same infrastructure. And that's important, okay? So keep that in mind as we progress. And by the way, I'm going to go through these slides fairly quickly. If there's any questions, please do raise your hand and let me know. Okay, let's talk about first the major benefits of Complete PBX. First of all, a web-based interface for easy implementation. And by the way, guys, if I do get in your way, I'm trying to be cognizant of it. Just let me know. But first of all, a web-based interface for easy implementation and management. And I'll show you the LaunchPad in a minute. But the whole point behind this is it's a GUI-based interface to make it easy for both end users as well as system administrators and system users. Okay? Very important. Enterprise class communications, unified communications, and everything from basic call center all the way on up. So to place a call, to transfer a call, to build a queue, to build a call center environment, all included in Complete PBX. Okay? The important thing here also to note is you install Complete PBX today, your client is growing, you need to add 100 phones, maybe a small call center down the road. Well, there are no end user, or per user I should say, license fees. That's very, very strong and very powerful in the marketplace. Brian is going to talk a little bit later about competitive offerings, and you'll see that that is certainly not the norm. So no per user license fees. Modular support. It truly is a hybrid system. While at its heart it is a voice over IP, ip-pbx system, we do support a hybrid mode with traditional TDM interfaces, FXS, FXO, PRI, and BRI. And interoperability. One of the beautiful things rather, about being in this marketplace today is we can work with effectively any standard SIP endpoint, whether they be phones, whether they be paging systems, intercom systems. So that's very powerful. You have the ability to choose what is the right solution at that endpoint level for your customers. Built-in mechanisms to regulate access for heightened security. If anyone was in the last training session, the advanced session, the last 2 days, they really hit on the security aspect. In the world of voice over IP right now, security is paramount. And Xorcom takes this very seriously. Iran mentioned earlier that we're going to have some announcements. One of them is around security. But built into the system now, it is very secure. When it comes, you are required to change passwords. It's very password secure. There's built-in mechanisms to provide a secure environment and to protect your system. But the announcements that you'll hear a little bit later will take that to the next level. It's hospitality ready. So for hotels, for example, we do have a solution. It's called Complete Concierge. We have another slide on it later, so I won't spend too much time on it. But it does provide an excellent and cost-effective solution. We all know there are a lot of hotels out there that have older legacy systems. Look towards Complete PBX as an excellent solution to replace those systems. And as I said, we'll talk more about that on a following slide. Easily tailored to suit a wide variety of industries. The system is extremely feature-rich, too feature-rich to even begin to go through all of the features in the system. The nice thing about that is it can be tailored to different industries. So for example, if you're working in education, if you're working in manufacturing, distribution, etc., you can tailor those capabilities to the particular industry and build a sales presentation around the specific capabilities that meet that industry. And by the way, I think it's interesting to point out here that if you have not been on our website and checked out our case studies, you should. There are a lot of great case studies out there in a variety of industries across a variety of countries. Okay? Great reads, I think gives you some very nice ideas of how the product can be used in a variety of industries, and a little bit of an advertisement. If you have a project that you feel is case study worthy, contact your regional manager. Let them know. We'll get it set up and we'll produce the case study for you. In other words, it's an interview with you and your client. We'll produce it and we'll get it published on our website. Excuse me. And it's really nice publicity because in addition to the case study being on our website, Ruth does publicize it through social media. She publicizes it through the marketplace, and you in turn can also publicize it on your website and get some get some traction with it. And lastly, open application programming interface. So it's easy to implement third-party applications. While I've talked about Complete PBX being a comprehensive solution with a very, very rich feature set, there are specialty third-party products that may be appropriate. So for example, we do have basic call center built into our solution, but if you have a very sophisticated call center, you may need requirements beyond what we can provide. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about third-party integration. Okay, so that's Complete PBX. I call this the Lollipop Diagram, and it really exhibits what I've been trying to talk about here, which is the comprehensive nature of what Complete PBX brings to the table, from call recording to conference bridges, fax, unlimited auto attendance, paging, voicemail, video calls, and graphical reporting. Okay? Because Complete PBX is comprehensive, we break it up into front-end and back-end applications, just as a way to logically think about the capabilities within Complete PBX. So from the front-end perspective, we talk about the user experience. That's the end user experience and the end user portal. Again, keep in mind, graphical. So very easy to navigate. Also, when you get Complete PBX, you do have different authorities. It's set up to be authority-driven, okay? So when an end user has an authority, if you will, or a user profile, they will see when they log in only those capabilities appropriate to that end user, okay? So it gives them an environment that they can be comfortable with, that they can learn easily, and it's also from a security perspective, as opposed to a system administrator who would need all of the setup parameters, configuration parameters, etc. Okay? Unified communications is everything from presence to call distribution to transferring calls, etc. Call center features is fairly self-explanatory. And then on the back end, we have administration, that's system setup, configuration. We have security, which we've talked about a little bit. Interfaces and integrations. That's the interfaces with third-party products that we've mentioned, okay, and integrations with other solutions. And then system economy. These are the features of the system that help a company save business, that help a company to improve their profitability relative to what Complete PBX can provide. Okay? Here is the LaunchPad that I mentioned. Okay? It's a graphical user interface, as I mentioned. Again, it's password driven. And I just wanted you to see the different login points from administration. Here's the My extension for end users. I'm sure all of you, hopefully all of you, have seen this. All right. So let's talk about those product lines. On the initial slide, I mentioned that there are 7 different product lines within Complete PBX, and here they are. And let's work our way from the bottom up. You can see the CXR1000. Interestingly enough, or actually it's important to note here, the C indicates when it has a preceding C in the part number, CXR1000, it is a Complete PBX product. If it's absent of that C, if it's just the XR1000, it is our Elastic's version of the product, which is still viable. Today we're focusing on Complete PBX, however. So you have the 1000. It supports 30 users. up to 55 concurrent SIP calls. And we grow in the product line up through the 2000 series, up to the Blue Steel server, which we mentioned earlier, that supports 1,000 users, 550 concurrent calls, and all the way up to the CX4000. Okay? Now, all of these numbers are published. The easiest reference is in our price list. If you don't have it, again, talk to your regional manager, and we can get you these. But this shows the breadth of the complete PBX product line, that we can start small, as I said, and we can grow to enterprise level. Okay, so why choose? You know, what's the difference? What's the distinction between the XR, the XE, and the XT models? The XR models are really the basic, the entry levels for standard business requirements with less than, a 40% utilization rate. When you move into the CXE series, we're talking about businesses whose call volumes are really higher than that 40% utilization. And they may be running additional applications. Call center is the best example there. So that's why you might look at the XE series. The XT series is when you need all of the benefits of the XE series, but you also want some resiliency built in. So with that Blue Steel server, you get everything that's in the XE series, and in addition to that, you have hot swappable hard drives, hot swappable power supplies, you have a temperature control and monitoring system, and you even have full support, redundant power support for up to 4 fully configured Astra banks. Okay? Speaking of Astra banks, let's talk about them. The Astra Bank and our XPP technology, which is a Xorcom exclusive, has been around for a number of years now. It is solid, and it is widely used worldwide, quite honestly. It's a great technology to provide flexibility in the telephony world because it externalizes in a 1U device that you see at the bottom here. It externalizes those telephony ports, those telco ports. So there's no PRI needed to connect to a channel bank, for example. There's no need to open up a box and insert a telephony card. You can externalize it with a USB attached device. And that's really the power behind the new standard for Asterisk connectivity, which is this XPP technology. Let's dig in a little bit further to the unique selling points. First of all, you know, initially when you talk to people about USB 2 and about connecting telephony, you do get the argument that it's not appropriate for telephony. But when you think about it, in the world of USB, high-speed USB connectivity, it can support up to 480 million bits per second. We round off a call as about 200,000 bits per second. Okay, so when you do the math, the USB 2 can support up to 2,400 calls, and these are uncompressed calls. The point being behind that little example is that it is more than adequate to support the call volumes in these particular environments. So it is an appropriate technology, and you know, I'll just highlight again that it is a technology that has been field proven for a number of years. So it is a very strong offering. Within the Astra banks and within this USB offering, we provide full support for fax and modems. It is modular and scalable, and additional ports are hot pluggable. Okay, let's talk about these build slides here. So the Astra Bank overview, the direct USB connection is to the Asterisk server. Notice I didn't say complete PBX server, it's to any Asterisk server. And by the way, the drivers for our Astra banks have been in Asterisk for a number of years now. So it is, again, a proven technology in that world. We support in an Astra Bank, and you can see in the bottom right here is a fully configured Astra Bank. We support up to 32 analog ports in a fully configured Astra Bank. It supports the combinations of FXS, FXO, PRI, and BRI. And it does include also peripheral device support when the FXS card is in the first position, as it is here. If you can see this diagram, you'll have access to the I/O ports, and we'll talk about that in a slide a little bit later. And then finally, it is supported by the redundant power supply and Twin Star capable. And we'll talk about Twin Star as well. Okay? This is a picture of the 1U Astra Bank, and this builds out, as you can see. This is a fully configured, it's actually a blow-up of the slide I just showed you of a fully configured 32-port FXS Astra Bank. The point with this slide is these modules are all fully configurable. And if you've seen our pricing guide, you note that we have a variety, a large variety of different configurations. And that really exhibits the flexibility so that you can build the Astra Bank configurations. And by the way, these are stackable, of course. You can use multiple Astra Banks, but you can build those configurations to exactly support your customer requirements. Okay. We also have a high-end Astra Bank called the Multi-PRI. This is intended for CLEX and other VoIP providers. It supports from 6 to 16 PRIs. Okay. It's all in this one U chassis that you see exhibited up here in front of you. It is supported by hardware echo cancellation on each of these modules. These modules. Okay. And redundant power supply is an optional feature or addition that you can have to the multi-port PRI. Up to 4 PRI ports are supported and they are supported by a main board. So there's no one single point of failure in a multi-PRI from the 6 PRI unit all the way up to the 16-port PRI unit. Okay, and it is supported in TwinStar configurations. All right, speaking of TwinStar, let's talk a little bit about TwinStar here. It provides a high availability solution to our clients. Okay, it's comprised of a primary system and a redundant system. Primary system is in operation, and it is automatically synced and continuously synced to the redundant system. In the event of a failure, the redundant system automatically takes over, usually in the matter of less than a minute. Okay, so it's a quick and automatic failover. Keeps downtime to an absolute minimum. And I will tell you this, talking about new announcements, the requirement within TwinStar has been, and I'm sure you're aware of this, the requirement for an Astra Bank, that is the controlling or the switching device in the TwinStar configuration. Relative to the new announcements, I think you'll see a change in that. There'll be a TwinStar 2 announced, and we'll talk about that at a later point. So, on to, I said we're going to go at a quick pace here. Everybody okay? We're moving? All right. Complete Concierge. Let's talk a little bit more about Complete Concierge. This provides a software interface, if you will, from the ip-pbx to the property management system in a hotel environment. Okay, that is the software controlling the hotel operations, if you will. All right. It is a software that integrates the ip-pbx with that for a variety of functions. It also provides call accounting software, and it can integrate with third-party call accounting software packages like Cash Plus, and there's some basic call accounting within the package as well. Okay. The other nice thing about the Complete Concierge is that it really will leverage the existing infrastructure within a hotel. Many hotels have existing analog wiring, existing analog phones, and to replace those is not a cost-effective endeavor. So what we can do with Complete Concierge is provide a very cost-effective ip-pbx solution to replace their legacy solution. We can also provide the capability that they can continue to utilize their analog environment, their analog phones in each of the rooms. Okay? And that's a strong message. We do interface with Micros, and here are some of the Micros supported products that we do support. I will tell you that there are other products that are supported. My recommendation would be if you run into a property management system that is not on this list, contact your regional manager, and he can help you determine if the property management system is supported or will be supported. Okay, and here are some of the features that the Complete Concierge does provide relative to the integration between the ip-pbx and the PMS. Integrated wake-up calls, an integrated browser-based operator panel. That's, for most of you know, the FOP2 panel. That's what we're referring to here. Front desk check-in, check-out. It can set up the room and make the phone available for the individual who's checking in. It will clean up voicemail box. There's even a system that's IVR-based for the hotel service staff to call in and use the IVR to say that the room is ready to be to be checked into, or it's dirty, or it's in process of being cleaned. So that's included within the complete concierge as well. All right, let's talk about a few supported extras, and then we'll wrap things up and get to the next presentation. But first of all, our phones. Xorcom now offers a full line of phones from our 100, which is really our entry-level phone, all the way up to the newly announced, it was announced in December, the 150. If you were in training, you got the opportunity to use it. Some of you even got one to take home, but here it is over here on the left-hand side. That supports now 6 SIP trunks, 1 gigabit, dual port. And let's see, so you see the 100, the 120, and over here you see the expansion module. That can be used with either the 120, I believe it supports 2, or it can be used with the 150. I think it supports up to 6 on the new 150 phone. Backup and recovery, the rapid recovery stick. This is an 8 gigabyte USB disk on key. It supports all ip-pbx models in the Xorcom line. It is for backups of configuration files, voicemail, and you can name these files appropriately for different backups with a name and obviously a date, something to that effect. And because it is 8 gigabytes, it is appropriate for multiple backups, as many as it can hold. So rapid recovery, that is a Xorcom exclusive. Very nice feature. We also support hardware echo cancellation, and Jonathan Beck is online. Hardware echo cancellation is, let's see, let me just build this slide out if you don't mind. Okay, hardware echo cancellation really complements the open source software echo cancellation that is included with Astra. You can have one module per Astra Bank or per ip-pbx. And the purpose of the hardware echo cancellation, let's see if we can get rid of this. Okay, is to remove the load from the CPU that the software version would create. Okay, the basic module supports 32 channels, and you can add additional licensing to support additional channels. I will tell you that hardware echo cancellation can be a little bit challenging to configure. So again, if you have any questions on that, contact your regional managers and they can walk you through it. Okay, analog lines failover kit. Not often talked about, but a great capability within the Xorcom product line. What it basically does is, one of the detriments of ip-pbxs, while there are a lot of advantages, there is a couple of detriments, and one of them is the fact that it is server-based. So if power goes out, you do lose that server. But the analog failover kit takes care of that. What it does is it pairs 6 incoming POTS or analog lines with 6 FXS ports. Okay, they're direct wired with this analog lines failover kit, so that in the event of a power failure, those lines which are direct connected to 6 extensions continue to work. Okay, and it's very cost effective as well. Rapid PA, again, if you were in advanced training, Kurt took you through the options for connecting PA systems to our complete PBX, ip-pbx system. Rapid PA is a very simple way to do that, and it's very cost effective as well. Okay, telecom connector, the TCO option is a factory installed option. It's great. We were talking about hospitality earlier. It's great in the hospitality industry. It basically provides a DB225 connector to connect the FXS ports, and it's pictured right here. Here's the connector on the back of our machine, and here's the DB2 connector so that you can punch down those 25 ports, and you eliminate the clutter on the front of the machine. And by the way, one of the nice things is the front panel ports continue to operate normally, so they're there for testing as well. And finally, rapid tunneling is a support utility. I'm sorry, there's 2 more slides, I apologize. Is a support utility. It's great for support personnel to be able to get into the system and affect the system from a configuration perspective or diagnose issues. Very easy to use from an end user perspective. They have a graphical user interface that they get into, they initiate that, and the rapid tunneling is established. And then finally, we talked about the I/O, the peripheral device support. We support up to, with that port, which is pictured right here, as part of the FXS port, up to 4 input ports, up to 2 output ports, input ports for things like burglar alarms, intercoms, and the output ports for things like opening a door, opening gates and things like that. Integrated right into the system. So you can dial an extension and open the door, for example. Okay? Any questions on that fast-paced presentation? Okay? I think we're good.